Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of GenAI Vlog. So previously, we've been talking about the model context protocol. Specifically, there's a client side and a server side. And right now, I'm in the client. The client I'm using in this example is the Claude desktop. It's managed by Anthropic. And I'm using it as an interface, some sort of IDE, or you can also call this a user interface UI, to enhance my user experience when I'm calling the server, when I'm invoking the server, right? So previously we talked about this fancy tool here. For example, you can plug in Perplexity, you can plug in Search FDA, you can plug in Wikipedia. The previous episode we talked about Search FDA, which has a open source FDA database to support that server. And then that server it's built in and registered into the Cloud desktop environment. So right now I can talk to it, right? I can say search FDA about ibuprofen. Something as simple as that. The large language model will recognize that maybe this is about a tool. It's about a tool, it's about a server, and we have the tool in that server, right? Search FDA, and particularly the function name is Search FDA database. That's the function we're using. So it calls that function, it invokes that function, it gets the results back, and then it will continue to do this iteratively, as you can see here, step by step, until it gets to the right context, right? Here we're talking about ibuprofen. It will continue to search that information, revise the prompt, things like that, to get to the right answer. Great, so I found FDA information about ibuprofen in the database. Here's a comprehensive summary of the FDA drug label information about that particular drug, right? And then here's the information. And be mindful that this information come from FDA, right? It does not come from large language model. So that provides us the reference, right? That provides us a reference. It serves as certain credibility to what the answer is, right? So if you agree or disagree with the context here, you have a way to go about it, right? You have a way to bring this onto the table and debate about it, right? Because the references here. So that's what we talked about last time. And this episode, I just want to show you guys a little bit of what the mindset is, specifically, what is the system diagram to support this kind of framework, right? Specifically to support the model context protocol. So, with that being said, now let's take a look at our code. So, this is the generic code that we talked about in previous episodes. This notebook will teach you how to conduct custom tool calling using Anthropic Claude API model. And then all the code is down here. We talked about that before. So one thing that people ask me about is this message body. So let me find the message body. And it turned out that people get a little bit confused of when you make an API call and then you have to check the tools. And if there's a tool name inside of the response, you then have to call the tool and then append the message with this new context and then make another API call in order to get a final response. So people are confused. Why would we do things that way? So today's episode, we're going to be diving into that kind of answer. So with that being said, let's turn our attention to this mermaid diagram. So mermaid diagram is designed in the code up here. That is a sequence diagram code using mermaid code. And then the function here in the notebook will stand up a link using mermaid.live. And then if you click on this link, it will take you to this diagram. So this is a sequence diagram. It is a diagram that walks users through what the data, how the data is passing from one step to another inside of the system. So let's take a look at this all the way from the beginning, right? This is tool calling. You start from user sends a message, and then this message hits the large language model. Large language model here needs to analyze the message and decide if the tool use is needed, right? So how it decides that, right? We're talking about this particular function here called tool use. So if you check in this while loop, line 21 in this block of code, there's a stop reason in the response. So if the response stop reason says there is a tool use, then we need to see what tools are there. And if we can use that tool and we're going to call that tool, right? Then that result is what we needed. If this tool is OpenFDA API, then we're going to call that API. And the reason we know that is because the stop reason says, hey, let's see if there's a tool, and then the name is that, the input is that, and let's see if we can invoke it, right? So that part is determined by this little arrow here, analyze the message and decide if a tool use is needed. If it's not needed, if I'm not talking about FDA or any other tools, I'm just saying something like write me a poem or write me a song or write me a story or tell me a joke, then it will hit the large language model directly, and then we're gonna get the response back. And that will be the end of that turn, right? If the message is about a tool call, like OpenFDA, like ask about ibuprofen or whatnot, that's regarding a particular tool, then this LLM, we're gonna have to go to the tool, invoke the tool with the parameters provided, get the results back, and then augment that response using the tool results, and then provide the final answer, which is already augmented back to the user. So this is what the sequence diagram look like with tool calling. Now, in the context of model context protocol, or also known as MCP, this is actually a very similar setup. So in terms of MCP, you have a client side and you have a server side. Client side, it's very much the same concept as LLM, right? Before in this diagram, this is LLM, but right now we're talking about the client. The reason this is a client is because it can be any LLMs, right? It can be any IDE. It can be even as simple as a terminal window or some sort of user interface, a web app, mobile app, whatever, right? You get the idea. There's some sort of client here that calls the tools if needed. The client here is going to have to decide whether a tool use is needed. If it's not needed, then return a direct response. If it is needed, it will go to that tool. And in this case, it's OpenFDA, right? In practice, you're going to have more than one tools. This OpenFDA could very much be a bunch of other things, right? And then certainly you can redesign this diagram by opening up this portal and have server 1, server 2, server 3, server 4, something like that. So you invoke it with the parameters, get the results back, and then enhance the results with the final answer and provide the answer back to the user. So this kind of sequence, it's what's happening behind the scene to what just happened, right? Now let's go back and take a look at the user interface of the Claude desktop, right? This is the Claude desktop, an example that we just talked about. In the beginning, we asked something about ibuprofen. It recognized that ibuprofen has something to do with the tool, and specifically the tool was related to FDA database. Then this is the information here that it's attempting to get the answer out, right? It's testing out different query, and then it ran the same code. And then the large language model needs to decide if the answer provided by the tool is helpful or not, right? Maybe it's not helpful, right? If it's not helpful, then you gotta keep trying. So here, there's a thought process. It's not about ibuprofen, right? So why don't we try again? And when you try again, it uses a different query, right? So this is part of what we call thinking process or reasoning process. It's the process of large language model, or in this case, is the Claude desktop client trying to use a tool iteratively until it gets the right answer. So here, finally, it says, I found it. And then here in the context, here it's what the answer is, right? Pain reliever, something like that. It's an NSAID product, so you get all that information. Once you found all that information, now you can append it to your message body and then enhance or augment the final answer before it's displayed in front of the user. So there you go. Hopefully this episode sheds some light of what's happening behind the scene when this kind of things happen on your client side. And then hopefully it explains what's going on with all the bells and whistles behind the client side and specifically in the framework of model context protocol. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like.